mouse.
I mean, you could use the mouse, you could use the enter key, the spin. I just think the arrows are the most. You guys didn't just do that.
Back up, you're spoiling it.
Back up. All right. So, conflict. That's Ian. That's Tyler. I'm Dean. All right. So, what is conflict? Well, we had to come up with our own definition. So we chose that it's basically a problem that people have to deal with. You know, really self-explanatory. There are two major types of conflict. That one, external. 3 examples would be man versus man, man versus society, and man versus nature. The second one, that one, there's only one example, and it's internal, so it'd be man versus self. Next one. All right, so the first conflict that we found was external conflict, man versus man. It'd be Gatsby versus Tom, because they kind of hate each other, even though they don't attack each other in the thing. They kind of do not like each other one bit. So some examples of it would basically be basically their whole conflict caused at least 3 people to die. So that's a big thing. Yeah, you're probably wondering why the boxing thing is there. When I was coming up with this, I kept thinking of them like boxing, but it was like, pal, I just had an affair with your wife. And then Tom's like, bam, you're a criminal. And then it's like, bam, your mistress is dead. And then Tom's like, well, you're dead. So, all right, next one.
Right, time to go. All right, so. This eternal conflict, which is, is whenever you're heartbroken and really sad on the inside, just like me. This is between Daisy and Gatsby's love for each other, and throughout the beginning of the book, they're separated and they're just really sad. And then Gatsby does things to try to impress her, like getting pension, getting more rich, and Daisy's just more sad, and then they get together, and then it's all sad. Next slide. This one is man versus self. Which Gatsby, he's really struggling with letting go of the past, and so he dies. And basically, he likes to things like throwing good parties to try to get Daisy's attention, and his erroneous view. Dean actually came up with this. He's from him looking back and seeing the life of her. Unless he was trying to get closer to her and see her more, which is weird and dirty for Dean. Thank you. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, so mine is man versus society. And why this is because society is basically what caused most people to die in this book. Had societal pressures between East and West egg not existed, Gatsby wouldn't have died, and Myrtle wouldn't have died, and Daisy wouldn't still be married to Tom. But it's society that caused all these things, and the man is kind of representative of the whole group, because they're trying to not die and get along with each other, and it also represents the wealthiness and how they live in society. One example of man versus nature is basically the whole book from chapters 1 through 9. I think what Fitzgerald was trying to portray in this book is that humans are trying to defy against their nature, which is really just awful and being bad and greedy. And as you can see here, Tom's a racist. Gatsby's never happy because he's not with Daisy. And Daisy's not faithful to either one of her partners. And Nick lies about things and over and under exaggerates things to make himself look better in the book. This wonderful illustration that I created is basically the sign which the sign of the eyes, which is, I think, basically representing God and how it's overlooking the valley of ashes.
So is that Wolf right
Yeah.
there? You're reimagining of him?
Yes. Basically it's representative of God looking down on the sinful ways of humanity, and then Roaring Twenties of self-loathing and taking advantage of others.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the end.